Bright, but you are already awake. I wasn't woken up by the crowing of chickens. I wasn't awakened by the morning light shining through the window. Actually, this is a stain made of dirt and straw. Only a small one. Windows with sticks. Not much light. You wake up. It's because of a biological clock etched in the bones. A kind of gang deeper than beating people. And vigilance on time. You sit up silently. The bed under you is actually a bed of soil. It's covered with hay. After sleeping for a long time, my back always hurts a little. The air smelled of damp earth, mixed with the aftertaste of the gruel left over from last night. You listen. In the next room? Your wife and children are still asleep. The sound of breathing is even and long. You're too scared to make any extra noise. Afraid of disturbing the peace. This is your home. One in the Qing Dynasty. An ordinary farmhouse in the Hawaii area. The walls are stupid. The roof is thatched. In case of rain. It's raining heavily outside. It's raining lightly in the house. There is no decent furniture in the house. A shabby square table. 2 benches. There is another one for storage. Pot of poor grain. That's everything. For you. Life is like the rice porridge in a bowl. You can see to the end at a glance. But you and others. Peasant facing the lus with his back to the sky. A little different. What you have to do tonight is not pick up a hoe and go down to the ground. But to go to a gamble with Wang Fa. You put that on in the dark. Coarse cloth jacket with several patches. Tightened trouser legs. A pair of sturdy straw sandals. You go to the foot of the house. There was a crock. You reach in. Take out some money. Tucked into his arms. This is your capital today. It's all your possessions. Why are you taking this risk? The reason is simple and sad. Poor in this era. Yen is the lifeblood. But he doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to any ordinary person. The imperial court implemented a salt monopoly. That is the so-called official capital business sales. Only those who are called just merchants. To be eligible to buy salt from the extension designated by the government. Then it will be shipped to the designated camp area for sale. They're holding government-issued aishadao. It's like holding a cash cow. And you and millions of others like you. You can only buy high-priced official eyes from them. So there are people like you. The government calls you thinking. That Shao character, it exudes a sense of ferocity and lack of disciples, but you prefer folk names. Whisperer. What you sell is bypassing the government and steel merchants. Straight from the source. This is a lucrative one. It's also the road to execution and exile. This trip today. As long as we become a family. I can eat a few dry meals this month. Lost your life? Maybe it's on the way. You gently push open the wooden door that clicks. A wave of moisture. Cold air is coming. The horizon is still a bottomless ink. You pinch your hands and feet and go around to the back of the house. There was a thatched shed. It's where you keep your stuff. Your most important partner tonight. Just parked quietly under the shed. A unicycle. This is no ordinary unicycle. From the outside. He and any other vehicle in the village used to transport armor. Manure trucks are no different. A sturdy wooden wheel. 2 long push hands. It's a big cab. The wood has been ground smooth. There's some dry mud on it. It looks unadorned. Even a little shabby. But only you know his true secret. You crouch down. Fingers groping on the inside of the front of the car. You paid a lot for this car. Money dragging a superb craftsmanship. But it was remodeled by a less reputable carpenter. Mainstream historical records. Mostly focused on the grand system of Yanjin. And the vast wealth of the salt merchants. But I rarely mention your faces. The tools that traffickers rely on for a living. These are creations infused with folk wisdom. And this unicycle is the embodiment of that intelligence. Your finger is on an inconspicuous street crack. Press lightly. The shaking baseplate emits an inaudible kata. The whole body can be lifted up. Below is an elaborate mezzanine. Not deep but enough to lay dozens of caddies of salt. This is the guy you eat with. It's your shield against those officers, soldiers and yamen. The advantage of unicycles is that he can walk those ox carts. Field roads where carriages can't get through. Rough mountain road. Flexible and humble. A farmer pushing a unicycle. Too common on the road. Who would have thought that under the front of this ordinary car? Hidden enough white gold to make you lose your head. You come from the corner of the shed. Drag out a few strict ones wrapped in oil paper. Tight salt packets. Put it carefully into the mezzanine. Cover the base plate tightly. You peel some hay from the other corner. And chicken bundles ready to get the firewood sold in town. Casual pair in the back of the car as a disguise. Do it all. You straightened up and patted the ash on your hands. This craft. This technique of hiding private words. In your business. It's like a secret legacy. Some people think. The spread of this technology. It proves that the private words are behind the clouds. There's a degree of blocking the network. But for you. It's more of a survival instinct. You don't know what other people do. You only know this mezzanine. It's between you and this cruel world. The only buffer. You take a breath. Holding the cold with both hands. Push your hand gently. The wooden wheel pressed a shallow fold on the mud. You push this one, carrying the whole family. The unicycle of hope and great risk. Out of the moon. Into the boundless. In the darkness before dawn. You push the cart. Walked along the field stems and dirt roads for about an hour. The sky begins to turn slightly white, from a deep ink blue to a hazy gray. The scenery by the roadside gradually takes shape. Sporadic dog barking could also be heard from distant villages. Just then, you see not far ahead. There is a figure of a tall building, also pushing a trolley. Go quickly. You subconsciously slow down. The heart is in the throat. But soon you relax. That's an old woman. Gray hair. The camel is like a cooked shrimp. He was pushing a smaller cart. There's a little age on it. You know him? He is the grandmother of the neighboring village. You and him, in a sense. They're peers, but they're worlds apart. He's just like you. All in irony. But he is legal. This is a very peculiar one in the strict formation of the Qing Dynasty. It's humane. It's called old and young. In order to take care of those officials and widows in the extended production area, the elderly and the disabled. Allow them to register with the county yamen. Get a wooden waste tag as a licensed town. With this waste tag, they can sell wild within 20 kilograms per day. But only within the scope of this line. This is both a form of social assistance. Prevent these people from starving to death. It is also a means of maintaining stability. Keep them from taking risks. Join the ranks of you beauty dealers. You push the cart past Mrs. Wang. He looked up. Turbid eyes look at you. And then he looked down. Keep pushing the cart. The rock belt on his car is open. Not shy. And your salt is hidden in the front of the car. Invisible. You're all living in poverty. But he has a government document. A waistband. The line between legal and illegal is drawn. The design of this system is actually quite clever. He uses a minimal cost. It calms the most unstable of people. Play a role in social security. But some people think. This petty legal paradigm. In fact, it has also become an official government in disguise. Eyeliner monitoring private speech activities. After all, these waistband peddlers. In order to protect his meager legal identity. Maybe I will report you to the government. The big guy who stole their jobs. You didn't say hello to Mrs. Wang. Just silently quickened his pace. A moment passed by. You smelled the faint salty smell on him. It smells exactly like the one you have in your car. The same salt. The same poor people. But because of an invisible blood, they took two very different paths. One struggles to survive in the sun. A fugitive in the shadows. You don't know which way is better. You just know you have no choice. 40 Jingyan can't feed your family. When the sky is bright, you have reached the first level. A ferry. A river that is not so wide crosses in front of you. River turbidity. Flow slowly. If you want to go to the town you are going to, this is the way to go. There are a few humble ferry boats docked by the river. A few in livery. Teeth with crooked hats. Is leaning lazily under the crooked neck tree on the shore. Yawn. You know that. The real postgraduate entrance examination
These people are
is
white
here.
in the county office.
That is, there is no formal establishment.
The difference between not leading the court.
Their livelihood. It's all about scraping oil from past people. This behavior has an unspoken name. It's called a leaky gauge. You push the cart. Walk slowly towards the ferry with your head down. A gum squints at you, sticking out your feet lazily blocking your way. Where are you going? His voice is long, with an air of arrogance. Back to customs. I also went to town to sell some firewood. You nod and bow with a smiling face. What's on the car? The other gum comes in. With a fire stick in hand, knocked your car lightly. Shake with a muffled sound. Your heart skipped a beat. But still keep a humble smile on his face. You took those out of your arms. Copper coins soaked in sweaty palms. Hand over. The money for several officials to drink a bowl of tea hard. The leading dentist didn't even look at it. Little Rollo next to it, immediately took it in my heart. Wait a little in hand. There is a trace on the face, an imperceptible expression of satisfaction, the tooth mark of the kissing hand. Then I put my foot back. He waved impatiently. Go ahead, go ahead. You are like an amnesty. Hurry up and push the cart onto the ferry. This money is the rule for crossing this ferry. No. They have all kinds of ways to make things difficult for you. Roll over your car. Check your goods. Let you delay all day. If you give it to everyone, you will be fine. This kind of rule was ubiquitous in Qing Dynasty officialdom. From local to Beijing, formed a huge and complex set of unspoken rules. The local official wants to send troops to Jingguan to explore the border, and where does this money come from? Just from you ordinary people. Through various and myriad taxes. And leak rules looted. Some scholars argue that generation of leakage gauge, the root cause lies in the low pay of Qing officials. Not enough to maintain official entertainment and yamen expenses. It is a form of institutional corruption. Emperor Kangxi even said. So-called clean official, I didn't take nothing. As long as you are not insatiable, even if you are a good official, you sit unsteady, on the ferry. Look at those yamen. Questioning the next passerby again. You've heard of those yachin who give gifts between high officials. For example, give 300 taels of silver as a gift. Li Dan Chamber of Commerce wrote Maorum 1. How elegant. How learned. And you? Only these few coppers stained with sweat or soil can be used. Money to buy a path to the unknown. You and the big shots. All live in this king made of rules. Except they're spiders weaving webs. And you are a flying insect that can be stuck at any time. Cross the river. The road ahead becomes a little smoother. You push your cart down the pass. On both sides of Guandao are dusty farmland. It's spring plowing time. There are farmers working in the fields. The sun is shining warm on you. But your heart is not at all relaxed. It's like an abacus in your head. It's constantly fluctuating. You're calculating the risks and benefits of this trade. The master of ceremonies hidden in your car. If it can be successfully shot, you can probably earn more than 1 or 2 pieces of silver. A tael of silver. At that time, it could theoretically be exchanged for 10 million copper coins, enough for your family to save money for a month. But that's just theoretical. The winning pen holder changes every day. No one can tell. And behind this money, you risked getting caught. The risk of being beaten, exiled, or even beheaded. It's all about relationships and personal conversations. That big gap. According to the court system, rock emerges from the rock field, after being taxed by the government. Then it is transferred and sold by the steel dealer layer by layer. The price has already increased several times. In the price of guanyen, not only the cost of the rock itself. The shipping fee also includes heavy rock carvings. And the staggering profits of the stealers. Some scholars have verified, in the Huai and Huai regions, the price of guanyen may be 2 to 3 times that of CN. The common people are not fools. Who wouldn't want to buy a cheap rock? So guanyen often can't sell. And your private words. But always have no worries about sales. You go. While thinking of those legends about Yangzhou salt merchants. Yangzhou is the seat of the yamen of Yanyansi in the Tuhui. All the salt merchants in the world are gathered there. Rich enough to rival the country. The most outrageous story you've ever heard. It is said that the imperial army with the head of the 8 chief merchants is It costs 50 taels to eat a bowl of egg fried rice. 50 taels, even if you risk your life on this deal. The money I earn is not enough for people to fry a bowl of rice. Those steel merchants, they're business people in partnership with the state. They pay. Part of it was deferred taxes to the treasury. Another part. It is used to manage the official duties and salaries of various officials. They pay for roads. In exchange for legal monopoly power. Then put all the costs. It's all passed on to ordinary people like you. You look down at the straw sandals on your feet. He looked up again into the distance. You eat with that, Master Huang of 50 taels of silver egg fried rice. Selling the same thing. But you live in 2 completely different worlds. His world is a pavilion. Its delicacies. Is as clean as soil. Your world. It was a dirt road. The branch god of the wheel. It's the copper in my arms that could be taken away at any time. Money, everything you do. I just want to get from the edge of his bowl of egg fried rice. It's just a little bit of broken rice. The midday sun is a bit spicy. The sun makes people drowsy. Sparse pedestrians on the pass. Only you are the branch god who pushes the wheel. And the chirping of cicadas. Just when you're a little slack. The corner of his eye suddenly flashed into the distance. There's a couple on the horizon. You wake up instantly. All the hairs stood on end. That's a pair of officers and soldiers. There were about 7 or 8 of us, wearing green clothes. Knife at waist. With a musket and long hair in his hand. They are in a loose formation. Coming down the curve in your direction. This is Ji Xing's patrol. Your brain is racing. Turn around and run, target is too big. Sure to be found. Moving forward is tantamount to falling into the trap. You sweep around the stone quickly. And it's flanked by open farmland. Nowhere to hide. But not far away there is a small forest. There is also a fork in the road that leads deep into the woods. You didn't hesitate. Immediately pushing the unicycle around the corner. Along that humble fork in the road. Desperately rushing into the woods. Wheels of a unicycle. Jumping on a bumpy confide. You feel like your heart is about to beat out of your chest. The main force of the army in the Qing Dynasty was divided into 8 banners and green battalion. The 8 Knights of Manchuria are the core force. Most of them are stationed in the capital or important care. And patrols in places like this. Security Keith and other sundries. Basically composed of Han Chinese legal battalions. And one of their tasks is to stop whistle hunting. That is, patrolling fixed routes. Preventing illegal speech trafficking and fideo activities, sometimes 2 patrols in different quarters. They will also whistle at the junction. Exchange flags as proof. Just in case someone is lazy, you plunge into the woods. Find a low place. Quickly put the unicycle down. Then the whole person is lying on the ground. Cover yourself with bushes. You hold your breath. The atmosphere does not dare to come out, leaving only a gap. Nervously observing the movement on the pass. The closure is getting closer. You can clearly see the weapons on them. They had old-fashioned shotguns. That is, Qiantang fire gun. Slow loading. Range and accuracy are limited. You've heard that there are some powerful whispering gangs. Even through smuggling. Get Liuxiang small foreign guns that are more advanced than officers and soldiers. Revolver. But you're not that breathless. Your only weapon. Familiarity with the terrain. And this forest at this moment. Officers and soldiers are lazy. Walk through the fork in the road where you hide. No one looked this way. They probably also feel that this kind of broad daylight, there will be no blind teacher. Dare to wander on the pass. Their footsteps are deep. The depth of the joke gradually fades away. Until they completely disappeared from the horizon. You dare to breathe heavily. You leap from the ground. I feel like the clothes on my back are soaked with cold sweat. You pick up the unicycle. Back to that fork in the road. Guandao dare not leave for the time being. You'd rather take more detours. I don't want to face those officers and soldiers again. At that moment. You are only 1 step away from hell. To avoid officers and soldiers, you took a long detour. Until the afternoon. Just arrived in a small town. You dare not go directly into the city, but the unicycle, hidden in an abandoned land temple outside town. And a man walks into town empty-handed. You need to find a place to rest. It's more important to find out about the wind. There is no better removal than a tea house. Tea houses in the Qing Dynasty, more than just a place to drink tea. He is an information center, a social place, a marketplace, even the offices of various underground organizations. This tea house in town is not big. 2 shops facing the street. There are 7 or 8 square tables and benches. When you walk in, there are already a lot of people sitting inside. There are merchants who walk the streets. There are farmers nearby. There are a few business people who look like they are talking about business. There are also some idlers who have nothing to do. You find an inconspicuous corner and sit down. I asked for a bowl of the cheapest coarse tea. The runner carried a long-mouthed copper pot. Flush boiling water into your bowl from a distance. The tea leaves are tumbling in the bowl. You pick up the bowl and blow on the hot air. Sipping. I pricked up my ears and listened to Zhou. Did you hear the noise? The Yen family on the bank of Zhangjiago in the south has grown again. Officials are almost selling 30 mosquitoes a gene, right? If it goes up, we can't even afford pickles. Shh. Quiet. Want to buy cheap? You have to find the right way. These fragmented conversations. It's vital information for you. Did you also notice? At a big table in the innermost part of the tea house, there was a fleshy-faced man sitting there. Surrounded by a few strong young people. They don't talk much. But the people in the tea house seems to be avoiding them intentionally or unintentionally. You guess this might be some local robe guy. Or the heads of other social organizations. In Sichuan and other places, many robes are located in tea houses. Handle various rivers and lakes affairs. The unique social function of the tea house. Let him become a mixed bag. It's a place of opportunity. It's a place where all kinds of people come together. The lines between legal and illegal are blurred. It is said that in the early years, in some tea house theaters in Chengdu, for the convenience of those who are fascinated by people who didn't want to leave their seats, there is even a service of movable chamber pots. That is, someone is walking from seat to seat with a urinal. Charges for people to solve internal emergencies. You drink your tea quietly. Filter all the information you hear in your head. Which port lacks salt? Where did you check the well? Which buyer is tight recently? These. It's all a bargaining chip in your next trade. The kung fu of a bowl of tea. You already have feelings for this town. Have a general understanding. You put down the tea bowl. Leave a few coins on the table. Got up and left this world full of fireworks. A place of right and wrong with rivers and lakes. You just walked out of the tea house not far away. A voice came from behind this brother. Please stay in your heart. Turned around and saw a man wearing a bunt. A middle-aged man with a lean face is walking towards you quickly. Are you sure you don't know him? Brothers are very deep. Also came to town to make a living. He had a smile on his face, but his eyes are as sharp as an eagle. Looking at you up and down. You know it. I'm afraid I've met someone in the same boat. In your business. Strangers talk to each other. Confirmation of identity is common. It's not just about safety. It's about making connections. Exchange. You dare not neglect. Fist clasp. Earthquake says out. Eat. The man smiled. Suddenly, she lowered her voice and read out a poem. 5 people divide a poem. Your heart beats faster. This is the incision specialist. It is used to identify members of the secret society. Identity code. This kind of thing doesn't make sense to outsiders. But the internal members have to be able to respond fluently. If you don't get it right, or wrong, will be regarded as counterfeit. The consequences are unimaginable. This poem comes from the legendary meeting of heaven and earth. Legend has it that after the failure of Shaolin Wuzhu to fight against the Qing Dynasty, go their separate ways. I left this poem when I parted. As proof of future recognition. Although you are not a big shot in the Heaven and Earth Association, but the traffickers. Wandering in the rivers and lakes to keep warm. I've also learned some similar excuses. Your brain is spinning fast. It's almost instinctive. You also lower your voice. Yes, the next sentence. No one knows the red shade on his body. The smile on that person's face became much more genuine. He went on reading. This story spread to the brothers. You connect immediately. When we meet later. Shurju versus play. He also made a covert gesture. Use the thumb and index finger to compare an incomplete circle. You respond with the same gesture. This process is down. Both parties have truly confirmed each other's identity. It turned out to be my brother. He tapped you on the shoulder. My name is Ma-san. Run in this area. Brother, your surname is Free and your surname is Lee. You have a surname in Huzhou. Never use your real name when you go out. This tradition of using poetry and jewelry as codes. It was very common in various secret associations in the Qing Dynasty. From the anti-Qing Dynasty to the Heaven and Earth Association to the Qing Dynasty song La Hui that later evolved. Have a complex set of incisions and rituals. And Fan Xian's gang. It is the modern underworld organization. One of the important sources of Qingbang. Those of you who fill in the blades. More than anyone else, organizations need protection shelter and identity. These words don't seem to make sense. It's just that you have no law here. The underground identity cards in the world. Brother Lee, the water in this town is deep. Can I help you? Come find me at the tea house. Ma-san gave you a meaningful look after saying that. Turned and left. You stand still. And I breathed a sigh of relief. You don't know if this encounter is a blessing or a curse, but you know. You've been killed by the local snakes in this town. Stared at. Find out what's going on in town. You go back to the Earth Temple. Push your unicycle. Entered town by a remote road. Your target is a Daliang store on the west side of town. Your buyer is the shopkeeper of that Liang store. But I haven't waited for you to walk to the Liang store in a narrow alley. You were stopped. This time it's not a hooligan. Not patrolling officers and soldiers, but a man wearing a 7th grade official uniform. Middle-aged man with a face. Behind him were 2 yamen. At first glance, he is a serious official. Your heart skipped a beat. Bad underpass. Look at his official supplement, which is she reprimand. This is the sign of the 7 civil servants. In the strict system. This could be a Yanks official. Or an inspector in charge of local audits. Not big but against you. More than enough. The officer of the War Department was not loud. But with unquestionable authority. What's on the car? We'll return to adults. It's firewood. You hurry up and bow your head, dare not look at him. Firewood, he sneered at God. Make fun of the hay in your cart with the whip of a horsewhip. Revealing the neater firewood below. Pushing such heavy firewood from dozens of miles away. Just to earn those coins. Is this a good deal for you? He had something to say. You heard it clearly. He didn't even check your mezzanine. But he's already convinced you have a problem. This is the old fritters of officialdom. They don't even need proof. Just use words and momentum. It keeps you from confessing. You know it's useless to reason. Running is a dead end. The only way is the old rules. You shiver from your close-fitting pocket. Take out a small, strong cloth bag sewn. This is the transit money you prepared. It is also the largest cost of your business. You hand him to the tooth ant next to the official. Head buried lower. The tooth ant took it and did not pack it. Squeeze in hand. Then he handed it to the official quietly. The officer took it and didn't even open it. It's just a bump in the sleeve. The expression on his face eased a bit. It's not easy for country people to make a living, he said slowly. But you must also abide by the royal law. Forget it this time. This is not an example. Then he took the men and walked away. You stand still. I feel my legs and stomach are going soft. In the cloth bag just now, it's half a tael of silver that you prepared. This amount of money is almost 1/3 of your expected profit on this trip. This is the so-called wild goose plucking. These delay officials. Their job is to squeeze you justice. But actually, their job is more about generating income. Emperor Yongjing was in order to rectify corruption. Implemented the famous Yang Lianying system. Pay high salaries to officials. Hope they can be honest. But the impact of this reform has been very limited. Because of all kinds of entertainment and officialdom, the cost of managing is huge. Relying on Yang Lianying alone is simply not enough, so a rule like this. It's still a major source of gray income for them. For this 7-rank speaker. Put you in jail. He's not getting much bang for his buck. Instead, bother to judge love. And like now. Let you be more filial. Easy and affordable. Between him and you. Completed a tacit. Illegal all money transactions. You bought Wang Fa with money. You keep pushing. Heart is bleeding. This business. Not yet open. More than half of the capital has gone. Experience twists and turns along the way. You have finally reached your destination, fume and desolate store in Jinshi. You parked your unicycle in the woodshed in the backyard of Liang's shop, and walked out. This hour. Then you along the way. Everywhere you pass by must be prosperous. People come and go on the streets paved with bluestone. Cheishui Malong. Smart shops on both sides of the street. Yuzianzhuang. Grocery store, blacksmith store. There are also vendors selling various snacks, one after another. The reason why you have to work so hard, take a huge risk. Travel dozens of miles to get here. It's based on the most basic principles of economics. The strict formation of the Qing government has a core logic. The closer you are to the area of origin, the cheaper the yen family is, the lower the tax deferral. On the contrary, the farther from the place of origin, the rarer the salt. The higher the salt price and salt tax set by the government. Your hometown. Not far from Lianghuai salt. It's a salt-producing region. Official prices are relatively low. The profit margin of private words is also small. And this town where you are now. Located at the crossroads of qualified gods, it belongs to the far-selling area. According to the court's just business case system, the customs here. It must be extended from a distant place by a designated salt merchant, shipped along a fixed long route. The transportation cost in between, running fees for layers of levels, plus heavy tax deferrals, and the merchant's own profits. It makes the price of officials here ridiculously high. This kind of sale by the government, the planned economy model of fixed production, man-made in these remote areas, creating a scarcity and high price of salt. This creates a huge business opportunity for you. You are taking an illegal no-go road. Bypassed all official links. Shipping salt directly from the low-priced area to the high-priced area. What you earn. It is the huge price difference caused by this official system. You look at the crowds on the street. I have some feelings in my heart for them. Salt is something that must be put in your mouth every day. But they may never know. Buy your own salt. A large part of it became water for the treasury, the mansions of salt collectors and the omissions of officials at all levels. There's no question. The strict tax was the court of the Qing Dynasty, one of the most important sources of income, even the father of the world. Strictly organized statement. However, this contribution, it was built on millions of ordinary people, on the basis of the most basic living needs. You stand on this busy street. But I feel like a ghost. The goods you brought is what everyone here needs. But your identity. But not exposed to sunlight. You take a breath. He turned around and walked into the back door of Liang's shop. Real battle. Just starting now. Backyard of Liangdian, packed with grain pockets and sundries. One wearing a silk shirt, the old man who kept Goat Lake, is sitting on a bench, leisurely drinking tea from a covered bowl. He is the shopkeeper of Liang's store. It is also your buyer this time. The surname is Qian. He sees you. I didn't even lift my eyelids. Just a buzz from the nose. It's a hello. You walk up to him. He called out respectfully. Shopkeeper Qian brought something. He added a mouthful of tea. A slow kiss brings. In the woodshed. How is the quality? No sand, right? You can rest assured that the best snowflake rock. The shopkeeper stood up before you inspected the goods. I took my stride and followed you into the woodshed. You opened the mezzanine of the unicycle, exposed the salt wrapped in oil paper inside. The former shopkeeper grabbed a handful, put it under your nose and smell it. I pushed it with my fingertips again, and he nodded his head. Things are good things. However, recently, the wind application has been strictly checked by the government. I'm taking a risk with this shipment. He started to lower the price. You know that. It's part of the deal. You are a private meal from out of town. With shady cargo. There is no room for negotiation. He's sure. You dare not push the salt back again. I dare not take it to the market to sell. In this backyard. He is the shopkeeper Wang Fa. You are an old expert. The color of this rock. What's it worth? You know. You can only accompany a smiling face.
Lower your stance.
A pack of 8,000 silver at one price. He holds out 8 fingers. This price. It's at least 20% lower than you expected. You've worked so hard and been scared all day. He moved his lips and took the big head. In the underground industry of Sion, there are rigid hierarchies. People like you are just the bottom-level operations staff. Take the highest risk. And like the former shopkeeper, they have a store to cover. Local connections are responsible for arrogance. Small risk but maximum profit. They are the ones at the top of this black pyramid. Have you heard of the Daoguang period? There is a private word-gathering knight named Huang Yulin, powerful enough to negotiate with the government. Even recruited by the governor. Although the former shopkeeper did not reach that level, but in this small town, he is the local emperor. About the social makeup of these whisperers. It's actually more complicated. Among them are desperate civilians like you. There are outlaws. Also like the forefoot. The cabinet is a serious businessperson on the surface, secretly manipulating one party's private words.
Marketing.
You were silent for a moment. Finally nodded. Just do as the former shopkeeper said. There was no alternative. You watched him get the guys to move the salt into the warehouse. Then he counted out a few pieces of silver from the teller's room and a bunch of copper coins for you. You took the money. It feels heavy. But my heart is empty. This deal is like a mirror. Let you see your position clearly. Whether it is facing those in official uniforms or those in silk shirts, you are all the same. It's the one who was transferred. The only difference is, one is at the pass. One in the back alley. You put the money in your arms. Don't dare to stay for a moment. Pushing the empty wheelbarrow hurriedly away from 2 o'clock. You just want to get out as soon as possible, on the way home. However, when you come to a corner. You saw that again. Ma-san, when I made the incision with you in the tea house. He's leaning against the wall smiling at you. Beside him stood a few men with big arms and round waists. Your heart sinks violently. You got it? From the moment you enter the tea house. You are being targeted by them. They know you're here to ship. I also know that you have money on you now. When the coast is in your car. You are trouble. Tens of caddies of salt are heavy and take up space. It's not easy to grab or get rid of. But now salt is silver and copper coins. Lightweight and easy to use in your arms. You went from a tough bone. Turned into a fragrant piece of fat. This is the most sinister rule in the rivers and lakes. Black eat black. You push the car. Not looking sideways. I want to walk past them. Brotherly finished his work so soon. Ma-san's voice rings behind you. If you make a fortune, don't invite your brothers to drink one. You stop walking. Turned around and said calmly. Brother Ma is joking. Small business. Just eat. Is that right? Ma-san came forward. Tapped your shoulder. The hand is very strong. Safety comes first when going out. It's been a rough night these days. Brother, we are not assured that you will go on the road alone. Why don't we give you a ride? This is a blatant threat. The so-called give you a ride is to take you to some remote place. Ransack your money. You look around. Those men have been silent, silently surrounded. Blocked your way. You know that. Resistance is futile. There are so many of them. And at first glance, he is a veteran of fighting all year round. Smugglers in the Qing Dynasty. In order to compete for territory and sales, fires and squabbles are common. Private message markets in some areas, even monopolized by specific gangs. Outsiders can't get in at all. You suddenly reminds me of the recognition poem I read in the tea house. What? When this story was spread and the brothers were later reunited. In front of the scriptures. These so-called brotherhood. Fragile like a piece of window paper. At this critical juncture. A sudden rush came from the distance. Someone is shouting. It's water on South Street. Ma-san and his men's expressions changed. Looking in the direction of South Street. Most of the houses in the town are made of wood. Most afraid of fire. Take advantage of this moment of distraction. You jerk someone away from you. Then run away. I don't even want the unicycle. You hear behind you. The cursing god of Ma-san's anger and defeat came. But they seemed to be attracted by the fire. Didn't catch up right away. You use all your strength. Running through narrow alleys. There is only one thought in my mind: to escape. Escape this place of right and wrong. You run all the way. Until it runs completely for a while, breathlessly hiding in a wheat field. You look back. A faint trace of black smoke can be seen in the direction of the town. You don't know if the fire was real or fake. But he did save your life. You've been lying in the wheat field for a long time. Don't dare to stand up until you confirm that no one is chasing you. The unicycle is lost. That's what you paid a lot of money for. You feel bad. But then I had a thought. Money is external. The most important thing is to save your life. You dare not take the road anymore. He wound his way back to the other side of town. Before dark. You must use the money you have exchanged for your life. Buy something to take home. You walk into a house that looks like very humble grocery store. You are afraid to buy too much. Fear of attracting attention. You start with a little bag of brown rice and some cornmeal. In the Qing Dynasty, ordinary people can eat pure white rice at home. It is a luxury only available during the holidays. Most of the daily food is these coarse grains. Then you pull a few feet of the cheapest hike. Your wife's clothes have been washed and turned white. The child's pants also have holes in the knees. You imagine them in their new clothes. A burst of warmth in my heart. This new 3-year-old 3 more years of sewing and mending. You wish it had ended sooner. And then you walk up to the medicine cabinet in the corner. Your wife has been coughing a lot lately. You want to get him some medicine. Pharmacy in the Qing Dynasty. The price of Qinyao is not particularly expensive, according to some surviving pharmacy ledgers. Small pills like Genpi breeding pills. A pill costs about 10 cents. You described your wife's symptoms to your boss. The boss packed you a few common herbs. Like licorice, platycodon and the like. It cost a few dozen coppers in total. You wrap your purchases in a piece of cloth. Carry on your back. This is your day and night. Risk the sand. Fight wits and courage with fellow officers and soldiers bullies. All the results in exchange. A bag of coarse grains, tooth-spitting cloth, a pack of herbs. You flip the remaining disc in your arms. Broken silver and copper coins. The monetary system of the Qing Dynasty was very complex. The official rule is that 1 tael of silver is exchanged for 10 million copper coins. But the private exchange rate has been fluctuating. The money you made today. Filial piety deducted from official benefits. Then deduct the cost of buying these things. There's not much left. You walk out of the grocery store. The sky has gradually darkened. You're carrying that little package. It feels heavier than pushing a whole cart before. Because it contains a husband. A father's simplest duty to his family. Night falls again. You're on your way home. You push the cart when you come. Fear of the unknown. And the desire for wealth. The car was gone when I went back. It's a real win in my arms. But the fear in my heart continues unabated. You're afraid to go around corners. You can only walk through dark fields. No moon. You can only rely on the memory of the terrain. Identify the direction with a few dim stars in the sky. It was dead silent. Only your footsteps, and the wind blowing through the waves of wheat. You feel like a lonely shadow. Moving in the boundless darkness. What you are most afraid of. They are no longer the officers and soldiers wearing livery uniforms. What you are afraid of is, Jianjing Avenue suddenly emerged from the darkness. Ma-san's gang you met during the day. Let you have lingering fears. You are out of business now. The only possession is the little money in my arms. If robbed, your trip will be in vain. It might even cost you your life. You walk with your ears pricked up. Any hint of wind and grass. An owl is called a god. Can make you break out in a cold sweat. You suddenly reminds me of the pair of gold and silver officers and soldiers I saw during the day, after they retire. Where will it go? You heard that the green welcome treatment in the Qing Dynasty was not good. The military wants to be meager. They're often in arrears. Many soldiers served in the military, even by hunting. or start a small business to subsidize the household. And when they are old and frail and judged, placement was very limited. Some disabled veterans. Only a little rice grain can be received every month. Get by. Historians' relocation of Qing Dynasty soldiers. There's a lot of research on this. It is widely recognized that this is a huge social problem. One has military training. What do people who can't afford to do? Some of them will go home and farm. But will there be some people? Will use what you have learned. School gathering mountain forest. Become the kind of person you are most afraid to meet right now, and the thought gives you the chills. The man who hunted you down during the day, at night. Will it become like you? A predator running for a living in the dark. About Phoebe and the thief. In a land shrouded in poverty and despair. The lines seemed to blur. You clenched the purse in your arms. He quickened his pace. The direction of home is just ahead. There is no wealth there. No power. But there is a warmth that you are willing to protect with your life. You must arrive before dawn. Return to that safe place. When the first cock crow came in the distance, you finally see the outline of your own village. You go around to the back of the village like a ghost. Silently slipped back to his small courtyard. You gently opened the door. And it was dark. Your wife and children. Still asleep. You go to the Kong. By the faint morning light outside the window, look at their serene water lilies. A heart that hangs for a day and a night. Finally put it back in my stomach. You take out of your arms the one full of grain and cloth skin. The package is placed on the table. Then you take out the rest of the money. Count out a few copper coins. On the wife's pillow. The little bit of silver left. You go to the corner. Pry open a floor tile. Put him and the little fortune you have accumulated before. Buried together. In times like these, hide money underground. Far safer than putting it anywhere. You do it all. Before taking off clothes full of dew or dirt. Quietly lie back on the Kong. The body temperature of his wife and children remains on the Kong. You curl up your cold body. Feel this hard-won warmth. You close your eyes. The experience of the past day flashed through my mind like a marquee. The tension before dawn. The secret of the unicycle. The wave of the ferry. Shadows of officers and soldiers. Undercurrent of the tea house. Back alley deal. The threat of peers. You take risks again and again. In exchange for the little grain and cloth on the table. In exchange for the copper coins by the pillow. In exchange for this moment of peace. But you know, it's only temporary. The money will run out soon. Food will always be eaten one day. The one that makes you have to take risks. An unfair world. Nothing has changed. Next time, you may not be as lucky as you are today. You think, those private words that have left their names in history. Sellers such as the famous Huang Yuling. He used to talk privately. Powerful enough to give the government a headache. The governor of Liangjiang, Jiang Priority, even wants to recruit Let him serve the court. But the yellow rainforest is capricious. Ultimately, it was replaced by another, tougher governor. Escape to the formation. You know very well. You can't become a yellow rainforest. You are just the most ordinary of all. Your destiny. More likely in a failed trafficking. Disappeared silently. Become a cold name in the dossier. Or can't even leave a name. You're too tired. These confused thoughts. Soon replaced by deep drowsiness. The sky outside is bright. A new day begins. For most people in the village. This is just an ordinary days when you need to go to work in the fields, but for you. This is the day I stole it after coming back from hell.